What's up, everybody? Jason, Joe, Cramser here. Episode number 2 of our new Songs of the Year series, in which we take a look at each year from 1958 through 2021 and pick some of our favorite songs. If you didn't see the first episode, we are choosing 5 tracks from the Hot 100 of that year, plus 5 more that can be anything we want. They can also have charted, or they could be deep cuts or B-sides or anything we want. And then we are also doing 1 selection of the worst top 40 song of the year. A reminder to everybody that we are putting links down in the description to playlists, Spotify playlists, YouTube playlists, and a link to our website where you can vote on whose favorite song of the year you like the most. And the playlists will be sort of housed there as well. You can check them all out. Easy access for you. So yeah, let's get into the list. Who wants to start?
I'll start with my top 100. It started out as a year where I didn't think there was that much good stuff, but then it turned into a year where there are surprisingly a lot of deeper cuts. So I put a bunch of really good songs in my top 100. I like all these a lot. I got a big hunk of love from Elvis Presley. This one's live from Hawaii, and the band is really hot, and he sounds good. It sounds better than some of the studio stuff that he was doing. I also got That's Why from Jackie Wilson, who we'll see again. Good year for Jackie Wilson. I got a classic, and I didn't even know they were around this early. I got the Isley Brothers with Shout Part 1. Just a really great classic standard, played during every wedding ever. Great in Animal House, of course. I also got another Jackie Wilson. I got Lonely Teardrops. Such a unique voice. I love the vibrato that he brings. One of a kind. And my top of these top Billboard 100 songs, gotta go with the Flamingos with I Only Have Eyes for You. Just an incredible vocal mix on this. I don't even know if they had the technology to accurately record the whole range of the band, but they sound so good singing. You can hear future Brian Wilson being like, yes, this is how I want it to sound. It's amazing, and it's a really good song. So yeah, it's my top of the Billboard 100s, but my top song I'm saving for my own personal list.
Much like 1958, my personal list is going to be filled with Billboard stuff, so it doesn't really matter, but I'll start with the Billboard. By the way, I saw the Isley Brothers a couple years ago at Pitchfork. Very unique headliner for one of the days of Pitchfork, but very cool. All right, so I thought 59 was much weaker than 58, and I've got a couple instrumentals in here, one of them being Sleepwalk by Santo and Johnny. Just a legendary guitar track, perfectly written, perfectly titled. It gives you those drowsy sort of island vibes. Another instrumental, I've got The Happy Organ by Dave Baby Cortez. Yeah, it's really upbeat and fun, catchy as hell, and there's also really underrated and underappreciated guitar solo in it. Most of these songs here in the 50s and early 60s are just kind of the ones that I've heard the most throughout my life and always stuck with me, and those are 2 of them. I've also got the Fleetwoods with Come Softly to Me. Really delicate vocals, beautiful, beginning with the dum-dums. That's so nice, soft, precious little gem, very sweet. And I'm also going to go with Ritchie Valens, back-to-back years. Donna, pretty simple, direct, to the point, but just got that great 50s poodle skirt, doo-wop romance kind of vibe to it. And I'm with Joe. I've got probably my number 2 of the year, I Only Have Eyes for You by the Flamingos. Absolutely sensational. I love the or whatever they're saying. It sounds like little raindrops or something. It's so cool. I love it.
All right. My Hot 100 picks, I'm going to start with Telling Lies by Fats Domino. I think his biggest hit's probably Blueberry Hill, Ain't That a Shame, which were a few years earlier, but he had a ton of songs on the Hot 100 still in 1959. This is another one that's kind of got all his trademarks, got great vocals, really distinctive voice, and that rolling piano that just his signature. It's a great song. Then I've got a track from Cramser's least favorite song, the same person that did his least favorite song in 58, bounces back in 59 with a great tune, Dream Lover by Bobby Darin. Really great. I think it's, really indicative of the era, the teenage longing and the subject matter, and great guitar, great backing vocals in the arrangement. Also going with Sea of Love by Philip Phillips. One-hit wonder, recorded it for a small label, and it ended up being such a hit that they leased the track to Mercury Records. Went to number 1 on the R&B charts, number 2 on the Hot 100. It's kept out of the top spot by the Three Bells by the Browns, which is not a great song. So it's kind of a shame he didn't get to number 1. And I'm only doing 4 here because my number 1 is from my Hot 100 list. But the fourth one, the last one that I'm doing right now, is a track that was released on LP in 58, was released as a single and charted in 59. And I'm going with I Loves You, Porgy by Nina Simone. Great track. Went to number 18, spent 15 weeks on the Billboard charts. It was her only top 40 single. And I will say I at least sampled every single track that charted in 1959. And there is so much repetition and people blatantly copying each other and just so much of the same. This stands out over almost everything else. It is so different, and just the recording quality is so much better. The intimacy of the performance is just on a whole different level than anything anyone else was doing. So yeah, really, really top notch.
All right, for my wild cards, this was deeper than I expected, and I got off a little tangent listening to a bunch of jazz records this week. But my fifth is not a jazz record; it's a standard. I Got Rhythm by Ella Fitzgerald, a classic Gershwin tune. She released this ridiculous box set, practically, of every Gershwin tune ever written. It's hundreds of tracks or something. It's crazy. I didn't listen to every single one of them, but I know this track, and her scat singing is just awesome on it. So I'm gonna go with that. Also, I got dun 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 dun. That's right. The Peter Gunn theme from Henry Mancini. Just a great menacing piano and guitar together and all that fun stuff over top. Great stuff. Also on my list, I'm going to go a little jazzy here. I got So What from Miles Davis. Kind of a big year for jazz with Kind of Blue from Miles. And that's probably my favorite one from the album. Really great bass line, splashy cymbals, just ridiculous modal souling by him and Coltrane. My number 2 is going to be a jazz standard for people who don't really like the modal stuff. But I got Take 5 by Dave Brubeck, of course, another classic. Super catchy, that 5/4 time. They had a lot of trouble recording it because it's a really weird time signature, but eventually they got it. Everybody knows it. It's, just sort of the 1 or 2 jazz tunes that pretty much everyone knows. So it's a pretty great song. So that's going to be number 2. And I'm going to save my number 1 for the big reveal at the end.
I've got 4 here. I'm going to start off with another kind of one that's in the same vein as my other ones before, kind of the sweet 50 standards. Hushabye from the Mystics. Great harmonies, really great harmonies, actually. Don't want to undersell that. Maybe some early Beach Boys influence there. Nice fluttery guitar part, great bass line. And then probably my number 3rd, and an artist that will show up a lot for me soon, the Drifters with There Goes My Baby. They do those big sweeping anthems with killer arrangements just so well, and that's got to be one of them. Another love song, or about love rather, I've got Teenager in Love by Dion. Really good, great lyrics. And then I'm going to go into the jazz realm as well, but I go pretty much free jazz, my favorite jazz musician will be Ornette Coleman. It was between this and Ramblin', but I'm going with Lonely Woman. Really awesome. I just love the sporadicness of the playing and everyone, and it's just all about mood and instinct and feel. It's great. And then I'm gonna save my winner as well.
Unlike last time, I've got a few that also charted on my wildcard list. One of those being El Paso by Marty Robbins, won the Grammy for Best Country and Western recording that year. Great guitar playing by Grady Martin, who was one of the top Nashville session guys. Phenomenal storytelling, just everything you want in a country song. I also got a track that Cram had on his list, another song that charted, and it even went to number one, in fact, Sleepwalk by Santo and Johnny. It's got steel guitar, played a triple neck Fender Stringmaster on it. It's awesome, such an amazing melody, would be good no matter what instrument was playing it. Then someone that I wasn't really familiar with, he had several songs on the chart this year, and I think all of them kind of slap. And I think this was my favorite, Lavender Blue by Sammy Turner. This is an English folk song that dates back to the 1600s. He does kind of like a doo-wop-y version of it. I think he's one of the better singers of the era. He's kind of, like I said about Nina Simone, kind of stands out among all of the other ones. He ended up recording for Motown a little bit later in the 60s. But yeah, great song. I also, like Joe, have Take 5 by Dave Brubeck. This was one of the best-selling jazz singles of all time. It was the best-selling. It still might be. I'm not exactly sure, but it sold a lot. Super popular for a jazz song. Like he said, it's in 5/4. It was actually written by Paul Desmond. And I was looking at the video of it on YouTube, and one comment was, "I don't own a refrigerator. I just play this song to my food," which I thought was awesome. It's just that cool. The last one before my winner is going to be Under Your Spell Again by Buck Owens. This was a number 4 song on the country charts. Didn't make the Hot 100 though. This was the second hit of his career after Second Fiddle. There's great steel playing on it, kind of establishes the Bakersfield sound that he sort of is famous for, along with Merle Haggard. So love that song, but not quite as much as my number 1. But before we get to that, we've got to do our kind of Razzies here, our least favorite top 40 song of the year.
All right, well, there's a lot of ones to choose from this year. I went a little off the board. I got Kooky Kooky by Edward Burns and Connie Stevens. It's just so grating. Just the way they sing Kooky Kooky drives me absolutely insane. It's just a really horrible novelty track. And Connie Stevens isn't bad. She has some good songs, but this was a huge mistake. It probably went to number 1 though, so made her a bunch of money. So I'll hold off on the disparagement, but yeah, it's a really bad track in a year where there were many.
My shite song is gonna be the Chipmunk song, Davisville. You know why? It just sounds really annoying. And it's almost really unfortunate that it got as popular as it did. Yeah, just the interplay with the dad and the Chipmunks and the musical, or the lack of musical sensation I get from it. Don't need it, don't want it. Don't need it, don't want it.
Well, there was no shortage of bad songs to choose from this year. The number 1 song of the whole year on the year-end Hot 100 list is The Battle of New Orleans by Johnny Horton, which, not a good song. I almost chose that as my worst song of the year just for the disparity between how popular it was. And that might be, at least until the 21st century, the worst number 1 song of the year for a full year. That is insane to me. There's also Running Bear by Johnny Preston, which is a bit racist. Not a very good song. And then we talked about the copycatting going on. Obviously, if you got a song that sound like Chipmunks that's popular, you're going to have one with squirrels. There's a song called Uh-Oh Part 2. I don't know if you're familiar with it, by the Nutty Squirrels. Not good. It's ridiculous. Check that one out though. It's a fun listen. But none of those are my official selection. The worst song of 1959, I'm going with a song called 7 Little Girls Sitting in the Back Seat by Paul Evans. This was on the charts for 18 weeks and peaked at number 9. It's about a guy driving a car with 7 little girls sitting in the back seat, kissing his friend Fred. And he wants to get in on the action, but the girls in the back seat tell him to keep his eyes on the road. It's a really silly song, really annoying chorus, just strange song. But good for Fred.
Good for Fred. How little are the girls?
Well, that we don't know, so yeah, maybe not good for Fred.
There's a lot of that going on this year. There's Sam Cooke, she's 16 or whatever, is also this year, I believe. And glad we grew out of that phase.
Until Winger came along with 17.
Well, 17 is the new 18, bro.
Shall we get into the winners?
We're not going to announce last week's.
So who tied? What were the numbers?
It was not Joe. Joe got 6 votes, I believe, and we tied. I think we each
27. It was 27 for Fever, Peggy Lee, and 27 for All I Have to Do Is Dream by the Everly Brothers. I had 6 votes, and I voted for my own song. So yeah, it's only Make Believe by Conway Twitty. Deep in 3rd place. Not a good start for me. Hopefully this week's or this year's, I should say, track gets me a win. You ready for this? It's the obvious track. It has to be the winner. What'd I Say, Ray Charles. It's basically the beginning of like R&B. It was like his kind of mess around song. Like they just kind of played it before shows, not live usually. It's just this like 6-minute long jam. There's a part where he's like going, and the backup singers are going, and it's like back and forth. It's real sexual for 1959, but it's at a whole nother level, I think, than everything else this year. And rumor has it, it was first played live in Brownsville, Pennsylvania, right in our own backyard. It's just a great track. I love Ray Charles. Great voice, great recording. Easy number 1 for me. It could have been on the Billboard side as well because it charted. I think it hit number 6, maybe, for the year. And it probably hit, I think it hit number 2 at one point. Ray Charles doesn't get much better than him in the 50s.
Well, I have a commanding tying lead with Jason so far in this series. We're both up 1-1-0. And Joe will not have a chance to catch me because I also have Ray Charles with What I'd Say. Can't fault me for that, dude. It's the obvious one. To me, this one doesn't sound like anything else going on. Seems way ahead of its time, like Joe said, with the R&B kind of influence, sexuality, the sound of the electric piano sounds so like awesome and kind of like gritty and like back room bar kind of feel to it. And his vocal performance is excellent. I was reading a John Lennon cites this song as like what he wanted when he was an up and coming musician, his sound to sort of be like, and how he wanted to react to his own music is the way he feels listening to this song. Was really high on Rolling Stone magazine's top 500 song list, rightfully so. It's totally bitchin'. It's cool daddy-o. Not for squares at all. It's awesome. Let's see if it's a trifecta.
No, but my winner, we did all 3 of us have on our list. I Only Have Eyes for You by the Flamingos, and yeah, it's so good. It was written for the 1934 film Dames. Just the vocals on it are so good. The guitar and the piano are incredible. They create so much mood and atmosphere, but there's so much space, especially with the vocals. Like he'll sing a line and then just wait, and then there's like all this space. They throw in the shabops in there. He'll sing like "Are There Stars Tonight?" and then there's pause, and it's just so much atmosphere. It's just unlike any other song that came out this year. I love it. It's great. That's my winner.
Good job, everyone. Yeah, that was my number 2.
So yeah, we got to get more than
60
people to vote each week. So go vote. It's all in fun. And it'll take you right to all the playlists, so you can check out all this music. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, do all the social media stuff down in the description. And let us know what your favorite songs of 1959 are down in the comments. Look forward to seeing that. And we will see you in the next one, 1960. See you then.